All right, Patch. So I just wanted to talk to you about what we were talking about the other day. I think it's super valuable for our audience out there to hear, which is our thoughts on Amazon as a channel versus Amazon as a business.
Yep.
Right? You and I know a lot of guys that are really successful running Amazon businesses.
Yep.
Right, is how they say it. And they couldn't be more accurate in the fact that they're saying, I run an Amazon business.
That's right. Because Amazon really does own them.
That's right. And, you know, they are running Amazon's business.
Yep.
Right? Not their business. You know, let's get into that. Basically, both of our thoughts is that Amazon should be a channel, be considered as a channel, a wonderful channel, a powerful channel.
Yep.
But not a business.
It's just a tool.
Right.
It's just a tool, like Facebook is a tool, Google is a tool, YouTube is a tool.
Yeah.
Shopify is a tool. WordPress is a tool. ClickFunnels is a tool.
Yeah.
Email. They're all just tools that, you know, when you call the carpenter, you call the carpenter. You don't call the carpenter the hammer man or the screwdriver man or the saw man.
Yeah.
It's just tools that he uses to orchestrate building something.
Yeah.
Which is the same thing that we do.
Yeah.
The problem is most people don't realize how crazy it is to only build their empire, their, you know, profit, their revenue generation system on a single channel where they don't own the customer.
Yeah. I mean, you know, a lot of guys come to us in a consultative capacity that are single channel Amazon sellers, if you will.
And highly successful.
Very successful.
Doing what they're doing.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And they're coming to us to try to figure out how to break outside of that channel because they've realized they've had the aha moment of like, oh crap, my whole business is reliant on Amazon.
Yeah.
Or Amazon has become their competitor.
Right?
Yeah.
100%.
Or, you know, the black hat tactics out there of people hiring people to tank their reviews. And I mean, there's all these different things that people can do to submarine your Amazon business, competitors chopping your legs out from underneath of you.
And then there's other people like me. I recently did this. We have a patent on something that a lot of other people mimicked. And we just called in our patent. We started enforcing our patent.
I know. Yeah, it was awesome strategy.
But the problem is, unfortunately, it is what it is. We're hurting other people, other people's Amazon businesses where they have, you know, built on Amazon.
Right.
Taking up our market share. If they hadn't taken up so much market share, we probably wouldn't have actually tried to enforce it.
And you did an analysis on this. It wasn't a rough analysis, it was an actual analysis on this, where you determined that how much market share were those competitors that were using your patented, component?
35% they were taken from us.
So your opportunity as the patent holder is to gain a 35% market share on that platform if you're able to get 100% of it, you know, from shutting them all down. Yeah. Clearly you're not going to get 100% of it, but like maybe if you end up getting 90% of it, if you will, or 80%, you're going to end up at a 25% gain in market share on a platform.
But it's more than that, because not only are we picking up all those people that we were losing, but we're also able to spread into more keywords because those people aren't clogging up the channels. So our organic goes up and our paid placement goes up.
Yeah.
And our generic traffic, you know, things that people land on you because you're suggested, we call that generic traffic. So they might be looking at a coffee related product and ours is suggested, and they'll, they'll land on our page and buy something. Yeah. But you know, that's a legitimate thing. That's a legitimate business move that we made to enforce something that we hadn't enforced before.
Sure. And all of those guys that had built businesses, as they call them, on Amazon, selling that competitive product using your patented device, overnight are out of business.
And Amazon helps us do it.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we could go the legal route if we had to, but the thing is, when you
don't have to.
You don't have to.
Yeah.
I mean, we did give people a heads up, and we said, hey, look, this is coming, because we didn't want to completely destroy people. And we wanted, you know, here's the other thing on Amazon, the more landscape you can take up, the better off it is. So we kind of told them it was coming, and then anybody that responded in a positive way was like, hey, what can we do? Then we would work out deals with them. That way we could still own more landscape, and they just, give us a little rip on each sale that they made. And people that were, kind of assholes about it, we were like, here's the number to the lawyer, you know what I mean? So,
Totally.
we got a little, it's all about doing business, if you can help other people still succeed. I'm one of those guys that I don't really believe in competition. The only competition is me, right? As long as I'm better tomorrow than I was today, I feel like I'm in a good spot.
Right.
But if people are willing to work with you, and everybody can be successful. There's enough for everybody out there.
For sure.
But
Yeah.
if you want to play hardball,
look,
sometimes you play hardball.
And yeah, I mean, but the point we're making here is that you're on a channel where you don't have control over
anything.
the game that's being played. Right?
Anything. So you think about it. You don't have control over anything. Let's say you're using Amazon shipping, and they change the shipping cost. Let's say they go up by 20%. Most people will go either bankrupt, or it will drastically change their profit margins. Let's say they change the algorithm and you fall out of the top spot. You fall out of, either bestseller list, or you fall out of, Amazon
right
Choice.
before they changed that, you had gone and bought an inventory based on your previous run rate and shipped it all there, right? To be able to be
man.
filled. And so you're sitting on a stockpile of inventory, and you're on page 6, right?
Yeah.
And we know these things, and probably the folks listening right now that are on Amazon are shaking their head yes as we're talking, because they realize, almost every Amazon seller realizes deep down, if they don't realize it, right off the top, that their business is not in their control.
Right.
They're building Amazon's business.
That's
and
right.
Amazon can, to your point, change the rules at any point in time. They can change the algorithm. They can change your placement. They can change their shipping prices. They could change a myriad of things that dramatically impact your business, if you will. But really, it's their business. They're doing what they want.
And you don't even have a phone number that you can call and really get to somebody that can make a difference. I mean, nobody is big enough. I don't care who you are. Nobody's big enough to make them change their minds.
Exactly.
Nobody's big enough to get a little special extra treatment or something like that. You're just a number.
Totally. Which is why it's critical, like we always talk about, to treat it like a channel, an amazing sales channel. Right? But you got to build other sales channels.
And so is Facebook. Facebook is an amazing channel, but you don't want all your eggs in that basket either.
You don't, for a lot of the similar reasons. They change
Google.
the algorithm, all those things. Yeah.
Google Ads, Google Display, YouTube. They're all great channels, but just like every other investor on the planet that has any idea what they're doing, they diversify. Right? All of them. There's nobody out there that has all their eggs in one basket that is a prime investor.
I think it's so cool that you say this, diversify, because it makes me think about the Amazon guys that we consult for a lot of times, where they're coming to us and they're like, I'm diversified. I've got 17 different products on Amazon. Their version of diversification is going deeper in the one channel that they have no control over, instead of diversifying, finding a hero SKU in their business and scaling that across multiple channels outside of Amazon, right? That diversification is smarter because you control, you get to build a list. You get to own customer data. You get to, once you have that list built in those other channels, then you do what we do, which now it's virtually free to remarket to that customer base over and over and over again.
Yeah, and not only that, but we diversify not just on the platforms, but sometimes we even diversify on how we take a payment. We'll have, 3 or 4 or 5 different ways to take a payment from the same channel. Because it's not always your fault how people treat the system that you built. So let's just say, for example, there's a lot of people on Amazon that like to get people to go, so they buy a product, and in the product packaging, there is another free thing that comes on some kind of card. Log in here, do this, do that, go to this page and whatever. And then from there, they try to sell them or give them a free product.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons that they're doing that is because they want to try to gain the customer for themselves. However, the problem with that is now there are lots and lots and lots of people that will buy your stuff, and whatever comes in that package, they will send it to Amazon and say they're not playing, on Amazon's rules. Amazon shuts you down without even asking.
Yeah.
They'll shut down the whole channel. But here's the thing. If you have an agency account and you're actually, running multiple businesses, and they can connect the dots, whether it be for credit card, shipping addresses, like if they can connect the dots, you might have only messed up on one channel and they shut them all down. Well, now what?
Yep.
And it was all because of some black hat, BS that happened.
Yeah.
And, you can be completely within the rules and still sometimes, just like on Facebook, you can have an account shut down and it shuts down multiple different stores, multiple different revenue streams, multiple different pages or, accounts or whatever. And in the grand scheme of things, you might not have known. The rules might have changed because they don't tell you when the rules change unless you're like us and we're in it every single day and you have somebody that's telling you from, the platform side, hey, this is a rule change coming January 1st. If you don't get the heads up, you could literally be breaking the rules of something that you've done for the last 5 years and one report and you get shut down.
Totally. I mean, I think, it's clear to us, and it's clear, like I said, to our viewers out there that are probably shaking their head yes right now about all these problems in their business that they perceive if they are a single channel Amazon business. Let's talk about what they do about it, how we help people that have this problem, because those watching, I think I want them to leave this discussion having at least some plan of attack, like some way that they can go about to shore up this problem in their business. And so, I know what we normally do, which is in our, tactical response marketing approach to everything. Yep. We take what they're doing on Amazon and we see what bits and pieces of that can be replicated outside of Amazon. Meaning, let's say they have a SKU that they're selling on Amazon that solves a pain point in somebody's life, or has, it's a good SKU to be able to scale in a direct response fashion outside of Amazon. Right. Because you can't, for example, do a really great job of selling, let's say, bed sheets or light bulbs or something like that on Facebook. Right. So if that's their business, then we can't really help them move that outside of Amazon. But if they're selling a supplement, for example, or they're selling a product that can have decent sales copy written around it, right? That has there's a solution that we can build for it and write some good sales copy. We teach them, and those viewers watching this right now, you need to look at your product suite. They need to look at their product suite that they have on Amazon and make a determination which one of those SKUs is possible to even scale outside of Amazon, right? We start there, and then we start to build out market, avatar, offer, customer journey, all of those different things that we define in our marketing approach. But too often what we see is they take whatever their best-selling SKU is on Amazon, and without any more thought other than that, because it sells well on Amazon, they decide, I'm gonna go try to sell that same thing outside of Amazon. Right. And it doesn't always work.
No, and also it's because they're not taking in consideration how many people, like what are they ranked number one for in the SEO world of Amazon, and how much organic traffic is coming in under that search word, and then taking it to another channel like Facebook and realize that people aren't searching, right? It's not you'd be better off to go in that scenario. You'd be better off to go to Google and try to do some kind of like keyword ads, which, by the way, is not a terrible idea as a starting point. No. But it just depends on like how good can you write to get people in that 3 lines of a Google ad that you can access to get somebody to draw a click. And then what page are you sending them to? Because that's another thing that people don't understand, that Amazon has conditioned people for years now on what their sales page looks like. in order to fit every single product. So you have to scroll like 20 times to get down to the actual layout of that product. But most people never get there. That's what Amazon doesn't tell you. They don't release the stats. They don't show you. There's no software out there that you can heat map an Amazon page.
Because they own the real estate.
Because they own the real estate, right? So, there's a lot of things that happen on Amazon that have been programmed year after year after year after year after year. And I'm an Amazon user. I use Amazon all the time.
Yeah.
And when I go, I'm not a guy that hunts reviews. I'm a guy that when I see what I want, I don't really care what the price is. I may price shop, if there's a $100 difference, but if it's $2 or $3, I'm not that guy. I want the exact thing I want for what I'm using it for. So how did I get there? I don't really know, because I don't know how Amazon, even for my own companies, you don't always know what correlations they've drawn to put this product in front of you, like Facebook does. They have their own algorithms to figure out who to put in front of whoever. And it could be pulling from credit card data. It could be pulling from the things that you like or comment or share or, interact with. So you don't exactly know. That's why it's so hard to remain at the top of Amazon. Once you start spreading out one product SKU, you might get there and stay there for a long time. But when you start adding multiples to the same channel, it's really hard to get them all to the top. Unless it's the same exact product, just red, blue, green, yellow,
Right.
whatever.
Right.
But you'd be surprised how many Amazon people really, truly believe that they have 100 number one products.
Oh, yeah.
But they don't. You can still go in and help them get more traffic on the stuff that they have. So I guess the point of that is you have to look at every single product as it relates to how the people that have purchased on Amazon, and then how that information relates to the platform you're going to, and how to successfully manipulate that to get it to the top.
Absolutely.
And in front of the right people.
No, 100%. And again, in our tactical response marketing, what we're doing, that approach that we take when we're identifying how to diversify and go outside of it, when we're defining, you mentioned something real briefly, and that's why I'm bringing it up. You talked about Google really quick. You're like, Google might be a great idea because of the SEO comparison to Amazon, right? But the fishing for the fish in the right pond, like we always talk about, right? Like, let's say your product is a very young person's product, right? Like, let's say your product serves a market that's 18 to 22-year-olds.
Right.
Well, would you want to go spin up a Facebook campaign trying to find 18 to 22-year-olds?
Could be Instagram.
Probably Instagram is going to be more of it, probably your next best focus. Not that you don't focus on Facebook, but if I'm looking at that, I'm going to take that approach where I'm defining my customer avatar so I know where they're living online, what kind of ads they're responding to. I'm looking at the competitive landscape out there, who's in that channel actively advertising, that I can go take a look at what they're doing and glean their best practices and just do it better than them.
It was really funny. We were talking the other day because there was a person that was running a product definitely to the older crowd.
Yeah.
And I opted for Bing ads because Bing, older people that aren't used to Chrome and all those kinds of things, they buy a computer, it comes stock,
With Internet Explorer.
Yeah, and Bing ads are there.
And a Bing browser.
And because they are older and they don't know the technology as well, and it's an older based product, Bing ads, fire those things up and they just crank. So
They do.
you laugh. I mean, we all laugh about it, but depending on the product and the avatar, you'd be surprised where you can still get massive traffic. Magazines are on the rise again.
I know. Direct mail's working.
Yeah.
Like, there's all sorts of things out there. Other channels that work really well.
Kind of goes in waves back and forth. So you really do have to stay on top of the landscape for the product industry that you're in. You have to stay on top of the landscape for the digital space and the platforms that you're using. You have to stay on top. It's just It's a lot of stuff to stay on top of.
It is, man.
And most people, this is a huge mistake that people make, is they go with what they feel. Well, I feel like my customers aren't on Facebook. I feel like this ad should be converting. Mm-hmm. I feel like Amazon is the way that I can grow my business the most quickly.
Yeah.
And when you start looking at the numbers, you'd be surprised how many people's souls we crush when we just lay it out in numbers. Like, you can argue with this all you want, but this is the real deal.
What do you always say? What's your funny facts don't
care about your feelings.
Facts don't care about your feelings. Yeah, I love that.
I mean, once you lay it out and you're looking at the numbers from the different platforms, I mean, it's really hard to argue with that. You can, and that goes for us too.
It does.
I say it all the time. Like, people say, well, what do you think about doing this? It doesn't matter what I think. I tell people that all the time. It does not matter what I think. We make the content, put it out, see what the market says.
Right. And we do a real good job building our customer avatar. And I know I've heard both of us say this to our teams that we have in our companies respectively. And that's that I don't care what I think. It's what Susie thinks.
Right.
Or it's what Joe thinks.
Right.
Right. We're constantly challenging our team to think about what the customer thinks about those decisions.
And test it.
Not what we think about those decisions.
And go test it. If you got an idea, run it.
Yeah.
Let's make the content and let's run it. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? It doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's kind of the norm, right?
Yeah.
You put out 10 pieces of content. One's going to work really well. 2 are going to do pretty good. 2 are going to break even, and the rest are going to fail.
Yeah.
You just have to have it in your mind that you're going to keep creating new content. And now that Amazon has videos, like you can actually schedule out time for videos and go live on their platform, because again, they're trying to mimic all the things that are working on Facebook and on Google. You can do that. And I'll tell you, there's so many Amazon guys out there that believe that they're doing really well, but aren't doing all the new things that have happened on Amazon. It just goes back to what I was saying before. You could have been doing the same thing for 5 years and be successful. But if you don't keep learning the platform, if you don't keep expanding, if you don't keep trying to get off the platform into other channels, eventually you're going to get passed. And you can't guarantee that you're always going to be Amazon's choice or, the top number one organic ranking thing. And here's another thing I've seen in several businesses is there has been such a fluctuation in the ad costing of different products for no apparent reason. Like, let's just say you dominate the space for a long time and you're running, let's just say for the sake of round example, you're running 10 grand a month in Amazon ads. All of a sudden, and that might have been good for, I don't know, let's say $30,000 worth of profit. And then next thing you know, man, that $10,000 drops through. I mean, it gets you nothing.
Yeah.
And people were like, what do I do? Patch, what do I do? I don't know. Because Amazon's not forthright in what they're doing.
Right.
And sometimes if you just keep putting the 10 grand in for a couple more months, you'll climb back up and nothing ever happened. Sometimes you got to completely change all your ad creative, change the store page. You have to really fight your way back up there.
Yeah.
And for no known reason. It's not like you can go into Facebook Business Manager and see all the different things. The only thing you basically get is a spreadsheet that you make yourself. It's not like there's no real understanding of how to dig yourself out of it other than just basically educated guesses.
Yeah, totally. So, just to sort of put a bow on this whole conversation, because I love talking about this stuff. But what can our viewers, what are the big takeaways? And I'll name a couple of them, and I'd like you to build on that, with anything that I missed. But one is they should absolutely have a multi-channel business, right? Not be solely dependent on Amazon.
Yes.
Right? They should absolutely look at their product suite when determining what to take off of Amazon and try to build out those other channels. They need to take a holistic approach, zoom out 30,000 foot, look at their product suite. If they don't have products in their current product suite, but their current products serve a particular demographic or a particular avatar, what other products that could be complementary to what you sell could serve that market in a great way outside of Amazon, right? So it could be a totally different SKU that they don't have right now. But ideally, it's a SKU already in their stable of SKUs, right?
Or something easy to build.
Right, absolutely. They need to do their homework. Absolutely critical that they do an excellent job at defining avatar, market, and they need to absolutely make sure that they're creating an offer that's serving that avatar in that market, right?
And sometimes it's geographic location. Sometimes it's, there's a bunch of other things that go into it. I think the biggest one for me, the biggest one that I've seen have massive success is when through the sale of a product, you can get somebody interested into a community. Is there a way that you can, without breaking the rules of Amazon, because that's one thing that I'm like big on. I don't care how cool you think you are and how well you think you can cheat the system, they will eventually catch you.
Yeah.
And so if you can figure out a way that you can, within the rules of Amazon, get people interested into a community off of Amazon, maybe a Facebook group, maybe a landing page for, 10 tips or, something else without breaking their rules. You do that, you can earn that customer to go somewhere.
And I don't want to go too far down this rabbit hole, but I definitely, we have talked about a lot about how people have to align their business with the platform in which they are doing business on. Right? Like don't try to beat the system like you're talking about. Don't try to game it. You might experience short-term success that way, but you're not building a long-term business that way.
That's right.
I want businesses that Facebook loves.
Yes.
I want businesses that Amazon loves. I want business, and by the way, it can be the same business, but different approaches to those respective channels.
And the crazy thing is, if you are going out of your way to maintain whatever their community rules are, they will go out of their way to help you too. We have really good close ties to Facebook because we're constantly, even when we get ads disapproved, not account shut down, but ads disapproved, we'll ask them, what happened? Why didn't this pass? So that we can learn what to do next. And they'll say, hey, this is a little too close to this line, or this is a little too close to the gray, or whatever. And we'll go in and change those and show them that we made the change. Send them the new copy and ask them to take a look at it. Because when you're doing that, they will go to bat for you when there is something that is just hard to stay in the white for, especially supplements.
And it's the harder path. The harder path is to work with them. Right? That's the harder path. And it frustrates us still, even though we know that's the better path. I mean, we're that supplement company that we just acquired, we're in month 2 of trying to get to a approved version of a particular page that we want to get to with them.
Right.
But we know once it's approved, once we have that rubber stamp of approval,
scale, baby.
Man, we are going to scale the hell out of that offer. I'm super excited about that. So I think we've got, I just want the viewers to know that we want you to work with the platforms, right? Build businesses that the platforms where it's a hell yes for them. Because then you're going to have that business for a long time.
And the more platforms you can build on, the better off you're going to be.
That's it. Well, Patch, it's been awesome talking to you about this, as it always is. We love these talks, and I hope the viewers get as much value out of it as I do. And I know you do too, and I appreciate you talking about it, buddy.